Welcome back after the break. And here we are going to study in detail about human reproductive system. In part 1, we have discussed clearly about the reproductive system with the help of a video presentation. I hope that video would have given you a clear idea about the different parts and different accessory glands that are helpful in human reproductive system. We have seen both male and female reproductive system. Is it right? Yes. And now in this session, we will study the content of the textbook. We are not going to miss even a single line from the textbook. Textbook is very important for us. Yes. So some point that I have left in video making, I think I will cover. Take your time, listen carefully. We are going to highlight some important points that we have not discussed in the video. And now we are going to study human reproductive system. Let us start with the first male reproductive system. Comprises of pair of testes, accessory glands and external genitalia. You have seen all these things? Yes. So testis is a primary male sex organ. And we have discussed about the scrotum also. It's a sac of skin that hangs outside the abdominal cavity which contains a testis, isn't it? And the most important aspect of the scrotum is it provides a suitable condition for the production of sperm. The body requires less than 2 degrees Celsius. So hence the scrotum is placed outside the body cavity to provide a temperature 2 to 3 degrees lower than the normal internal body temperature. Hence, the scrotum acts as a thermoregulator for spermatogenesis. So this is a very important. So what would be the question? Why scrotum is called as a thermoregulator, or how, or justify how the scrotum acts as a thermoregulator? So you will be writing this. Viable sperms cannot be produced at normal body temperature. The scrotum is placed outside the body cavity to provide a temperature 2 to 3 Celsius lower than the normal internal body temperature. Okay. Each testis is covered by outermost fibrous tunica albuginea. It's already highlighted, and it is divided into many septa, 200 to 250 lobules, each containing 2 to 4 highly coiled testicular tubules or seminiferous tubules. You have seen in the video clearly. And this highly convoluted tubules, which forms 80% of testicular substance, are the site for the formation of sperms. Okay, so where sperm is produced, you will write seminiferous tubules, right? Next, the stratified epithelium of seminiferous tubules is made up of two types of cells, namely Sertoli cells and nurse cells and spermatogonia cells. This spermatogonia cells will form, it's called as a germ cell, will form a gamete, and this Sertoli cells act as a nurturing or nourishment, gives a nourishment to the germ cells for the formation of sperms. Okay, so these are the two important cells that are found in the seminiferous tubules. Sertoli cells are elongated and pyramidal and provide nourishment to the sperm till maturation. They also secretes inhibin. So this entire paragraph is about the Sertoli cells. So you can highlight it. Yes. And what about this inhibin hormone? Inhibin. Okay. What is the most important aspect of this inhibin? It's a hormone which involves the negative feedback control of sperm production. So spermatogonia cell divides meiotically and differentiate to produce spermatozoa. What is negative feedback control? See, all the time the sperm should not be produced, isn't it? There should be a limitation. So whenever there is enough production of sperm, then this inhibin will give information to stop further spermatogenesis. Okay. When there is a need only, there is a production of sperm. Okay. Yes. Interstitial cells or Leydig cells are embedded in the soft connective tissue surrounding the seminiferous tubules. These cells are endocrine in nature and secretes androgen, namely testosterone hormone, which initiates the process of spermatogenesis. So not only the Sertoli cells, the other cells, seminiferous tubules, they produce androgen, the testosterone hormone. These cells are endocrine in nature and characteristic features of testis of male. Other immunological competent cells are also present. Now we will see the accessory ducts associated with the male reproductive system. We saw all these things, isn't it? In the video we saw retitestis, vas efferentia, epididymis and vas deferens. Seminiferous tubules of each lobule converge to form a tubule sectus and convey the sperm into the retitestis. And further, the retitestis is tubular network on the posterior side of testis, and the sperm leave the retitestis and enter the epididymis through vas efferentia. So epididymis is a single highly coiled tube and temporarily stores the spermatozoa, that is the sperm. Spermatozoa is simple. It's sperm, okay, and they undergo physiological maturation and acquire increased motility and fertilizing capacity. So they get intense maturation and increase viability in epididymis. Okay, the epididymis leads to the vas deferens and joins the ducts of the seminal vesicle to form ejaculatory duct. We have already seen in the video, which passes through the prostate and open into the urethra. The urethra is terminal portion of the male reproductive system and is used to convey both urine and semen. So it's a single passage wherein it is conveying urine as well as semen at different times. It originates from the urinary bladder and extends through the penis by the external opening called urethral meatus. The accessory glands of male reproductive system includes a paired seminal vesicles. You can see here seminal vesicles. Okay, these are the seminal vesicle, very important. Bulbourethral glands, also called as the Cowper's gland. So this is very important, Cowper's gland and the single prostate glands. You can see all these glands. See, so many glands. 3 glands are here we have. One is prostate gland, bulbourethral glands you have. Okay, so this bulbourethral gland is otherwise called as a Cowper's. You can see this 2 P-shaped. We have already seen in the video, right? The seminal vesicle secretes an alkaline fluid called seminal plasma containing fructose, sugar, ascorbic acid, prostaglandin and coagulating enzymes called vesiculase. LASE. ASE nale ungalku theriyum adu oru enzyme which enhance sperm motility. Okay, the sperm has to move, isn't it? Yes, the sperm has a tail and it has a mobility. That mobility is enhanced by this enzyme. The bulbourethral gland are inferior to the prostate gland. The secretion also help in lubrication of penis. The prostate encircles the urethra and is just below the urinary bladder and secretes slightly acidic fluid that contains citrate, several enzymes and prostate specific antigens. Semen or seminal fluid is a milky white fluid which contains sperms and seminal plasma from the seminal vesicle, prostate gland and the bulbourethral gland. So this is the definition for it. Meaning, okay? The seminal fluid act as a transport medium. What is the purpose of seminal fluid? Seminal fluid oda vela enna? So this is seminal fluid's function. It acts as a transport medium, provide nutrients, contains chemicals that protects and activate the sperms and also facilitate their movement. So we have seen about the semen, what is semen, and we have also seen about the what are the function of this seminal fluid. The penis in the male external genitalia functioning as a copulatory organ. It is made up of special tissues that help in erection of penis to facilitate insemination. So already we have studied insemination is transfer of sperm into female genitalia. The enlarged end of the penis called gland penis is covered by a loose fold of skin called foreskin or prepuce. The female reproductive system, we have so far seen about the male reproductive system. Let us move on to the next. Female reproductive system is far complex than the male. Yes, many new organs are there, many changes are there, many hormones are involved in this reproductive organ. So it is complex than the male reproductive system. Male reproductive system is simple. But when we talk of female and more complexity is added. Yes, it has to nurture the developing fetus because The embryo develop in female reproductive organ, isn't it? A female reproductive system, and hence it makes it more complex. The female reproductive system consists of a pair of ovaries along with a pair of oviduct, uterus, cervix, vagina, and external genitalia located in the pelvic region. These parts, along with the mammary gland, are integrated structurally and functionally to support the process of ovulation, fertilization, pregnancy, childbirth, and childcare. I think in video, I think we have covered all these things, isn't it? Supports the process. What are the process that supported by the female reproductive system? Yes, ovaries are the primary female sex organ. Ovaries are the primary female sex organs that produce a female gamete, ovum. The ovaries are located on either sides or each sides of the lower abdomen. You have seen in the video. The ovary is elliptical structure about 2 to 4 centimeter long. Each ovary is covered by a thin cuboidal epithelium called the germinal epithelium, which encloses the ovarian stroma. The stroma is differentiated as outer cortex and inner medulla. You have seen that, isn't it? Below the germinal epithelium is the dense connective tissue. It's called as a tunica albuginea. The cortex appears dense and granular due to the presence of ovarian follicles in various stages of development. The medulla is a loose connective tissue with abundant blood vessels, lymphatic vessels, and nerve fiber. Ovary remains attached to the pelvic wall and the uterus by an ovarian ligament called mesovarium. So this is very important. Ovary is attached to pelvic wall and the uterus by an ovarian ligament. That ligament is called as a mesovarium. Fallopian tube. Here only very important aspect takes place. Fallopian tube. Uterine tube or oviduct, we call it as uterus and vagina constitute the female accessory organ. So far we have seen about the ovary, and these are the accessory organs. Each fallopian tube extends from the periphery of each ovary to the uterus. We have seen it in the video. The proximal part, okay, fallopian tube bears a funnel-shaped infundibulum. Yes, infundibulum. The edges of the infundibulum have many finger-like projection called fimbriae, which help in collection of the ovum after ovulation. Female uterus contains one of the strongest muscle of the human body. The infundibulum leads to a wider central portion called ampulla. Ampulla is a very important part. Okay, here only fertilization takes place. So it will come under 1 mark question. Where is the exact fertilization takes place? You will write ampulla. Okay. The last part of the oviduct is isthmus, which is short and thick walled connecting the ampulla and infundibulum to the uterus. The uterus or womb is a hollow, thick walled, muscular, highly vascular and inverted pear-shaped structure lying in the pelvic cavity between the urinary bladder and rectum. The major portion of uterus is the body, and rounded region superior to it is the fundus. The uterus opens into vagina through a narrow cervix. The cavity of the cervix, called cervical canal, communicates with vagina through external orifice and with the uterus through the internal orifice. The cervical canal along with the vagina forms the birth canal. So these two parts forms a birth canal. The wall of the uterus has 3 layers, namely the outermost thin membranous serous layer called perimetrium, the middle thick muscular layer called myometrium, and inner glandular layer called endometrium. What is special about endometrium? The endometrium undergoes cyclic changes during menstrual cycle, while myometrium exhibits strong contraction during parturition. So this is very important. These 2 layers are helping female reproduction. Okay. Vagina is a large fibromuscular tube that extends from the cervix to the exterior. It is a female organ of copulation. The female reproductive structure that lies external to the vagina are called external genitalia or vulva, comprising of labia majora, labia minora, hymen, and clitoris. The Bartholin's gland, also called as a greater vestibular gland, are located posterior to the left and right of the opening of the vagina. They secrete mucus to lubricate vagina and are homologous to bulbourethral gland of the male. Homologous means they perform a similar function. Okay, though they are different organ, but they perform a similar function. Hence, we call it as a homologous organ. Okay, the Skinny's glands are located on the anterior wall of the vagina and around the lower end of the urethra. They secrete a lubricating fluid and are homologous to prostate glands of the male. So here two glands have been given, and the respective homologous organs that is found in the male also it is given. Okay, so this Skinny's gland found in the female is homologous to prostate gland in male. Okay, so this will come under match the following, and this Bartholin gland is homologous to bulbourethral gland of male. So this two, this one is found in female, and similar function is performed by the bulbourethral glands of male, and Skinny's gland perform the same function as it is done in the prostate glands of male. So these two words just keep in mind. We will go to the next one. The external opening of the vagina is partially closed by a thin ring of tissue called hymen. The hymen is often torn during the first coitus. However, in some women it remains intact. It can be stretched or torn due to the sudden fall or jolt, and also during strenuous physical activities such as cycling, horseback riding, etc., and therefore cannot be considered as an indicator of women virginity. Okay, so this is not the sign of women virginity because this hymen is a tissue. Okay, it can be torn when a female is performing a strenuous activity. So this will not come under human virginity. Next, the mammary glands are the modified sweat glands present in both sexes. It is rudimentary in male. Rudimentary means it is not functional. Okay, though it is present, it is not having any functional aspect in male and functional in female. A pair of mammary glands is located in the thoracic region. It contains glandular tissues and variable quantities of fat with the median nipple surrounded by a pigmented area called areola. Several sebaceous glands called areolar gland are found on the surface, and they reduces cracking of the skin of the nipple. Internally, each mammary gland consists of 2 to 25 lobes separated by the fat and connective tissue. Each lobe is made up of lobules which contain acini or alveoli lined by epithelial cells. Cells of the alveoli secretes milk. Okay, this is very important. The alveoli open into mammary tubules. Tubules of each lobe joins to form a mammary duct. Several mammary ducts joins to form a wider mammary ampulla which is connected to lactiferous duct in the nipple. Under the nipple, each lactiferous duct expands to form a lactiferous sinus which serves as a reservoir of milk. Each lactiferous duct opens separately by a minute pore on the surface of the nipple. Normal development of the breast taking place during the puberty and progress with changes during each menstrual cycle. In non-pregnant women, the glandular structure is largely underdeveloped and the breast size is largely due to the amount of fat deposits. The size of breast does not have the influence on the efficiency of the lactation. So these are the very important aspects of mammary gland, and so far we have covered the female reproductive system and the male reproductive system in detail. We have covered both the primary sex organs as well as the accessory sex organs. Okay, so today what and all we have studied? As a quick recap, we have studied about the functions of 4 functions of reproductive system: gamete formation, transport and sustainability of gamete, nurture and developing offsprings, and to produce hormones. And we saw what are the events that has been taking place in human reproductive system. Sequential events that are taking place. We have seen all the sequential events. Okay, from the gametogenesis till parturition we have seen, and then we saw what is the role of the hormones that are secreted in reproduction. And we studied further, we studied in detail about the two reproductive system of male as well as female. We have studied about the organ and the accessory glands associated with that. We have also covered some important hormones that are enhancing the reproduction. Okay, and this is all about today's session. And next class we are going to continue with gametogenesis. Gametogenesis means formation of gametes. So we have seen the reproductive primary sex organs. From the primary sex organ, how the gamete is formed will be discussed in the next class. Okay, I hope this video will be useful for you and will be clear. If at all you have any doubts, please feel free to ask me. Post your queries to my number so that everything will be clear for you. Okay, do not procrastinate your work, students. Let us finish the topic today only so that we will complete the first part of the chapter from your zoology teacher. Bye bye. Have a nice day.